Welcome everybody to a very special edition of Skyrim's mod of the day. Now you may think, why is it special? And it's special because I'm focusing on one massive mod, because to be honest it'll be long enough showing this mod and there'll be no time to show any more. If there is, I'll pop one in, but I highly doubt it. Now the mod in question is Vampiric First, the Dawnguard edition. Now this is basically vampirism rewritten from scratch. It strives to preserve the feeling that Bethesda originally intended, but functions in a completely different way. I really want to take an in-depth look at this mod and try to keep it nice and streamlined and fast at the same time. So let's get started. Now under active effects I have quite a few effects affecting my character right now. I've just become a vampire again, and the source of these is undeath. Now the first one is damage, health, regeneration. As a undead creature, you are immune to poison and disease and do not need to breathe, yet your flesh is also 200% more vulnerable to fire, does not regenerate naturally, and is only 50% affected by magical healing. Then we have resist disease, resist healing, resist poison, water breathing, and weakness to fire, and they've all got the same description as the first one. We also have new ranks now, just like the NPC vampires. With fledgling being the lowest rank, we now have ranks as vampires, so that is just awesome as it is. Anyway, vampire fledgling. As a fledgling, you benefit from 20% frost resistance, 10% speed bonus, 25% stamina regeneration bonus, as well as a 5% improved stealth and 10% improved illusion magic. And lower down we have the new sunlight immunity, and currently it says sated. Your thirst for blood is quenched for a time. You may abide the scorching rays of the sun without the fear of destruction for as long as you are fulfilled. Now in the original Skyrim, the only effects that actually came onto your character in the sunlight was no health and no stamina regeneration as far as I remember. So now you can actually receive damage in the sun. Actually hiding in the shade apparently reduces the damage, so I can hide in the shade over here and it will reduce my damage if it was sunlight, as opposed to standing right here in the actual sun. And we currently have some new powers, first of which being feed. Blood of the living is your only sustenance, and you are only driven by unnatural lust for it. Sating it will give you pleasure, but deny it for long and you will lose your mind. So your character will go crazy if you don't feed on blood, which is cool. And we also have vampire abilities, which is quite in depth. I mean, it's got a lot of detail in it, and I'll go into that in a second. Now let me show you the new feed ability. Make sure I've got it equipped. Feed. It classes as a power such as your shouts. Now I've tried it on NPCs such as guards, and it works fine. On other characters, such as more important characters, you get 4 off, which kind of makes sense. I mean, I'll go behind this guard right now. There's no point actually sneaking on him. I'll get attacked, but who cares? Unless I do sneak. There's no point. Just activate your power anytime, and here you go. How do you wish to feed? You can sip, drink, drain until sated, empty, or leave. Now, as far as I know, if you empty him, the character dies. If you choose any of these, they don't. It's actually funny what happens to them. If I sip them, they fall down like a ragged doll. Look. Boom! It's actually really funny. Now, this character, if I try and feed on them, you'll see this. My bite was resisted. Which, it's a good way to say you can't feed on an NPC. But let's go to another guard, because if you look, this guard is still alive. See, I can't actually loot his body. Well, if I go to this guard, until empty, I can now loot the guard, and he's dropped his weapons while he is just frozen. He's passed out, pretty much, while he is dead. So, there's good differences. Now let's take a look at the vampiric abilities. Now this is a power just like the feeding power. Select it and activate it, and you will get a screen. You currently have 0 points to spend on new vampiric abilities. Basic powers cost 1 point, advanced 2 points, and combined 3 points to learn. Check the categories below to view available powers. Now we have 3 powers. We have subtlety, might, and magic. Now let's take a look at subtlety. The powers of subtlety are favoured by many clans of vampires and often are the source of their infamy. They range from a multitude of abilities serving to occlude or influence others' minds to many ways of honing one's predatory senses to the deadliest utility. Now you'll notice there is 1, 2 and 3 options here: mesmerism, deception and senses. The ability to bend mortal minds to one's will is powerful and rightly feared. Vampires all throughout Tamriel, from Lilac Bay to Skyrim, practice this art, but the Cyrodiil of Vampirium, I think that's how you say it, order has honed it to its perfection and owes much infamy to that fact. Now, seduction basic, I can't learn it because I have not got my points yet, but mesmerism basic, available points 0, cost to learn 1. Now, through a hypnotic gaze, sensual touch or suggestive whisper, you can put a living subject into a deep state of high suggestibility for a short time or until hurt. Many mesmerism powers require this before they can be applied. Obviously I can't learn it, you do not have enough points available. Anyway, back in the subtlety menu, we've just looked at mesmerism, now deception. The ability to avoid attention, cloud perception, and become one with shadows to live in the midst of their prey unnoticed is valued by most breeds of vampires, but the Lyresi of Lilac Bay. Vampires inhabiting Cyrodiil and Skyrim, as well as the Burn of Vanderfell, all have a special affinity for it. Now under this you'll notice Embrace Shadows, again a basic skill, and Deception basic, available points 0, cost to learn 1. For as long as you avoid drawing attention to yourself, you can become imperceptible to the eye. So again, another good skill. Now the final ability in the subtlety category is senses. Almost all vampires can see in the dark without effort, but the capabilities of their perception do not end there. Legends of vampires being able to see through illusions and smell blood or even emotions of their prey from miles away may or may not be exaggerated, but it is certain that a few other predators' senses are as acute as vampires. Now the ability here is Blood Sense Advanced. Now this is an advanced ability. Go into this, Senses Advanced, available points 0, cost to learn 2. You can sense the blood of the living from far away and even distinguish its basic flavours and qualities by smell alone. Next up we have the Might section. The powers of might are responsible for the accounts of vampires' legendary strength, unmatched grace and incredible resilience. They allow to increase one's raw physical potential to become a better predator. Now you can see there is another 3 spell categories here, which is Potence, Reflexes and Fortitude. Taking a look at Potence now. Although by no means all vampires possess the strength to crush walls of stone and rip the heart out of an armoured warrior's chest, such feats are indeed in the realm of possibility for vampires who concentrate on honing their unnatural prowess, such as the brutal clan Quora from Morrowind. Now the ability here is Deadly Strength basic. Potence basic, available points 0 as usual. You can become capable of astonishing feats of physical strength. Now let's take a look at the reflexes. In many parts of Tamriel, a vampire moving with incredible speed and agility, reacting to danger without conscious thought, is the first and last its mortal prey sees before it notices the blood pouring from its throat. Of all bloodlines, the Burn inhabiting Morrowind and Veseth of Daggerfall are best known for this deadly swiftness. Now the skill here is Extended Perception basic. Your awareness sharpens and reflex becomes uncannily precise. And finally in Might we have Fortitude. Although few can claim to delight in being run through with a sword, it does give many vampires a lot of pleasure when they can pull it right out and return it to their horrified foes. But it's not all a vampire's body is capable of, and those who practice this discipline makes the most out of their undead physiology. Few bloodlines apart from the Galify and Selenu are known for focusing on honing this ability, but also few vampires can afford to ignore it entirely. And the actual ability is Vigor Mortis basic. You may use the blood you have stolen to bring some vitality back to your flesh and repair damaged tissue. And finally let's take a look at the magic category. The enigmatic and rare disciplines of vampiric magic are a unique kind of sorcery that uses blood as a conduit for power. Among them are abilities to mould one's physical form, perform foul necromancy, and even manipulate blood itself. Now you'll notice two categories this time. We have blood magic and mortis sanguine. Now let's take a look at the blood magic. All vampiric sorceries utilise a power hidden in blood in one way or another, but the most popular one deals with blood itself and by the extension of vampiric state. It allows to control one's hunger, feed off a victim's life force without the need for physical contact, and perform a myriad of other sanguine manipulations. The vampires inhabiting Skyrim and Morrowind, particularly the Ornday of Vanderfell, seem to have natural grasp of these powers. The power is Vampire Drain Basic. Let's have a look. You can drain the target's life force to sustain yourself. If the target dies while affected by this spell, it may sate your hunger as well. And let's take a look at Mortis Sanguine. Although their undead state gives vampires a first-hand insight into the nature of necromancy, surprisingly few decide or know how to pursue this path of mastery over undeath. For some reason though, the vampires inhabiting Skyrim practice it almost universally and have mastered it to an extent unheard of anywhere else. Now the ability is called Corpse Marionette, and it is basic of course. Click on this. With a few drops of your blood you can raise and control a corpse for a little while. Anyway, that's the vampiric abilities, and from reading that I think that sounds fucking amazing. Now I want to take a closer look at the actual sunlight damage, so let's go into sunlight. Now I'm walking around sunlight in Skyrim, in Solitude. I want to see if my stamina regenerates. Stamina is regenerating, so that must mean you regenerate stamina, so that's a change. But I'm looking at my health bar and it's still low. Now I think vampires do not regenerate, like I said earlier, they do not regenerate health no more. You have to use magical spells to actually regenerate health. Which is cool, but you got to remember, you only receive 50% of the effect of the healing. So it'll take much longer to heal. But anyway, as you can see, the sunlight is not damaging me right now. But I'm going to starve myself, and let's see if it starts to damage me. Now that I've effectively starved my character for about 7 days or so in the sun, you can see the screen's got like a red tint to it now, and if I go into my power screen you can see new effects, such as daylight vulnerability. Now it's not actually burning me to pieces in the sun, but it is actually causing effects, same as damage persuasion, which is a starved state as you can see, and it's telling me to hunt, feed, kill. Your rational mind is almost gone. You suffer a -30 penalty to speech, 150% slow magical regeneration, and lethal sun damage. Blood is calling to you, and your illusion of humanity is no more. So all in all, it's quite cool so far. Now you'll notice that kid has actually got a like red glowing
Lady Atia says my
thing
voice
coming
is
out of
second
it.
only to hers. But she said
You can hear a heartbeat in the background. My character is clearly wanting to eat some food. Now I wonder if I can actually feed on this child. It'll be funny if I can, but I'm going to try.
Oh,
Can you hear the heartbeat? My guy is going crazy. I've just saved the game because if I'm going to feed on a kid, I want to be able to reload it, even though this is my mod account. If that kid goes inside, yeah, my guy's going crazy, especially around people. All my guy wants is blood. Let's try and eat her. Yep, look, empty. That means I should be able to kill the child. Let's have a try. She didn't die because I've not got no mod installed. Now, if I had a mod installed to actually make kids killable, she would have died there. But either way, you've just seen a vampire feeding on the kid. Hey! And now you will notice my character's health is actually decreasing in the sunlight. Now, this character currently has 3,000 health. Normally, he's got 50,000 health because it's a mod account, that's why I can't die. But my health is decreasing because I'm in the sunlight. Now, take note of how fast it's decreasing, and my character's actually starting to smoke. Just keep an idea on how fast that's decreasing. Now watch when I go into the shade. You'll notice it's slowed down. It's still decreasing, but less, and it has slowed down. But I'm still smoking. Anyway, I want to see the character actually die, and he's now set on fire, which is quite cool. But I want to actually see the character die and how I die, because that's going to be quite interesting. But yeah, I'm burning up in the sun, and this is what I call realistic vampirism. To be quite honest, I mean I'm actually on fire now, and this is extremely realistic. Alright, my character is really burning up now, and he's about to pop his clogs, and look at that, he's extremely on fire now. Even worse than before. Any second now you'll see him die most probably. I've not seen it myself yet, so I don't know how good it looks. But I mean, the fire alone looks good.
High Moon Cave is down to the southwest.
The guard has no clue. He's just standing there, acting like it's totally normal to see a guy on fire in the street.
Some say.
A burning inferno, and standing there taking it. Yep. You fall over, die, and you actually turn into a pile of vampire salts. That's actually quite interesting. That is actually quite good. Now, another thing to keep in mind about the sun damage is the fact that it's dependent on the weather. So if it's snowing and the sky is really blocked out, you won't receive as much damage as well. So it's not only shadows, it's also weather, and this is just amazing. And real quick, you'll notice I've actually gone up a rank in the vampire hierarchy. I'm now a vampire child from a fledgling. As a child, you benefit from 35% frost resistance, 15% speed bonus, 50% stamina regeneration bonus, as well as 10% improved stealth and 20% improved illusion magic. Now, speaking of these ranks, I'll talk about this real quick. Aging that increases your innate advantages and potency of many vampiric powers, with 5 attainable stages out of 10 that are available to NPC vampires. So far there's only 5 ranks, but there's 10 in the actual game for the NPCs. But he might add them later. And this is the Dawnguard version of the mod, which means it is fully integrated and mutually interactive with the Vampire Lord system. It also contains support for the NPCs who have access to some of the same capabilities as the player, and in some cases even greater. There's also many new plans for this mod in the future updates, including more new powers, expansions. Anyway, that's it for this mod, and I think I might show another mod. If I do, you'll see it in a second. But first, I've paid a visit to my old friend Heimska. Hello Heimska, get ready to die. Oh, too bad.